Oh, hi, hello, welcome. It's been a while since I recorded something. The last time I recorded something was with FNAF. So I thought, you know what? It's time to get updated on the lore because it's been a few years since I've been updated on the new recent lore explanation. So, yeah. Let's go and watch some lore. Alright, let's see what's new with the FNAF lore, huh?
Get ready for a surprise! She can dance. She can sing.
All back, all of them, together
Whoa, whoa, how did that get in?
in one place.
Oh. Together
Five
in
Nights
one
at
place.
Freddy's is a franchise with over a decade's worth of content, spanning countless games, books, and now a movie. There's a reason that no matter whose
Two
timeline
movies,
you watch,
to be
they
exact.
all look different. Making a FNAF timeline is not easy. There are so many ways you can interpret this story, and
Alright, so then why am I watching? There's no, he already said there's no easy way to explain. So what's the point?
this is mine.
I hear him out.
So let's
Alright.
start at the beginning. Back in
No.
the 70s, a company called
1970s.
Fazbear Entertainment got its start by creating different props and mascot
FNAF is that old? Or like, it's FNAF that old? It's 1970s?
costumes for carnivals, and
Damn.
specifically for something called the Fall Fest. The Fall Fest featured various mascot characters such as a bird, an elephant, and the most popular of all, Fredbear and Bonnie. These specific mascot costumes were so popular, Fazbear Entertainment opened a dedicated restaurant for them called Fredbear's Family Diner, featuring the same
special
Fredbear
treatment.
and Bonnie mascot costumes from the Fall Fest. What Fazbear Entertainment didn't account for, though, was one of their animatronics from the Fall Fest.
So is that the original like Springtrap suit? Or, well, not Springtrap the character, not the suit mechanic. But was that how he looked like? Has that been rewritten? I don't remember him looking like that in the third game. This is a different one. Which would make sense, but you know.
Going
I'll
rogue.
stop yapping.
Ending in
What
a
the
giant
fuck?
fire, with most of everything from the Fall Fest being
It's
destroyed.
from the new game. I haven't played the new game at all. So, but I've seen it. I've seen like at fucking animatronic, but I never played it. I don't know what happens in that new game. If you guys wanted me to play that game, please comment. Quick question, how does one pertain these type of clips? Alright. John FNAF. Honestly, a banger of a name though, honestly.
The specifics about the animatronic that went rogue and the fire are unknown and will likely be revealed next year in FNAF's next big release. Although we don't know much about how this fire occurred, we do know that
So this is pre-new game. So there's still
after
lore
the
missing.
fire, Fazbear Entertainment started phasing out of the mascot costume era. They needed something new. The two men who helped found Fazbear Entertainment, William Afton and Henry Emily, stepped up to the plate. William Afton was mostly the businessman of the two, handling all of the money, while Henry was the more creative one.
He was more of the Mr. Crab. He was more of the like, what would he be? More of the Squidward? SpongeBob. Would he be Squidward or SpongeBob in this scenario? Huh.
With him being in charge of building most of the
see.
animatronics and props for the company. With the Fall Fest era of the
I'm thinking SpongeBob now. I think he's more
company coming to
SpongeBob.
a close, they were only left with Fredbear's Family Diner, the standalone restaurant created for the Fredbear and Bonnie characters. In order to replace the mascot versions of Fredbear and Bonnie, Henry went to work on new versions of the characters, eventually creating the new Fredbear and Spring Bonnie.
I'm just saying, why would someone be okay with their child being near this? You know? You know? You know?
The same characters, but with new designs and new suits. Henry called them Springlock suits. These suits are able to double as both an animatronic and a suit that the employees could wear. To switch the suit from animatronic mode to suit mode, the employees could use a hand crank to pull back the animatronic parts, leaving room for them to climb inside. The Springlocks that were helping to hold
so fucking stupid, bro.
back those animatronic parts were very sensitive though, and with even a little bit of moisture, the Springlocks could potentially snap
Oh, just a bit of moisture? Oh, hate to break it to you, but the human body is apparently like mostly water.
shut,
So-
crushing and killing whoever was inside. But if that ended
So
up
probably
happening,
not the smartest thing, you know?
In the case that the spring locks come loose while you are wearing a suit, please try to maneuver away from populated areas before bleeding out.
Wait, hold on. In the case of the spring locks comes loose while you are wearing the suit, please try to maneuver away from populated areas before bleeding out. In the case of the spring locks come loose while you are wearing the suit. But if the spring locks, if it gets loose, doesn't that mean they're free? Or does loose mean tighten?
Do not ruin the customer experience.
Fredbear's Family Diner ended up
hell
being
no.
super successful for William and
Hell
Henry,
no.
so much so that other companies tried replicating it. Another company proceeded to
You mind dying a little quieter and away from the kids?
rip off
Appreciate
Fazbear
it.
Entertainment's old mascot
Jesus,
characters by creating their own
W
animatronic
company, though.
While the rival company was able to
Okay.
replicate the designs, they could not replicate Henry's state-of-the-art technology. Their robots were poorly made and had to
State of the art. State of the art. Okay. Okay, that's a funny way to put it.
have giant batteries.
That's a
with
very
exposed
funny way to
wires
put
on
it.
Stage with them. Naturally, the rival company failed and ended up being bought out by Fazbear
Womp
Entertainment. With all of the success from Fredbear's Family Diner, William and Henry decided to branch out and create more characters for a new restaurant.
That's right, folks. Longtime owner Mr. Krabs is opening a new restaurant called the Krusty Krab 2. First of all, congratulations, Mr. Krabs.
Hello, I like money.
What inspired you to build a second Krusty Krab right next door to the original?
In 1983, William and Henry opened Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, featuring
Yeah, I'm
Freddy
aware of this part of the lore with the whole, like, you know, the first game is technically the second part, and the second game is the first part, which
Fazbear,
was a
Bonnie,
little confusing.
Chica, and Foxy. With the opening of
Because
Freddy
I feel like the suit's kind of downgraded from like from the first, second to the. How would I? I think the toy animatronics look a lot newer than
Fazbear's Pizza,
this-
Fazbear Entertainment duo were so wrapped up in work that they started
Aw.
neglecting their own families. William was the father of 3 kids, the
Say it
eldest,
not
Michael,
to be
the crying
true.
child, and Elizabeth. The crying child has yet to have a 100% confirmed name, so
I'm familiar with this one. I'm familiar with this. Not familiar with this one. I vaguely remember maybe hearing this being thrown out in like a FNAF lore explanation many moons
for this
ago,
video, he will
but
just be called the crying child.
out of the loop,
Meanwhile,
guys.
Henry
Give me a
had
break.
one kid, a daughter named Charlie. The business partner
oh yeah, the kid that the fuck that William after was like, you know, fuck Henry. Let me kill this fucking 5-year-old child. That will teach him. Should I?
green
I'm not gonna
bracelet
say it.
that Charlie was wearing. If Charlie, wearing the green bracelet,
just
tried
you
leaving
guys,
the building,
like,
the security puppet
wondering
would
why.
spring. He cared more about making money, but also saving money. Naturally, he decided to just force his eldest son Michael to babysit while he was at work. Michael was mostly in charge of babysitting the crying child. The crying child didn't have many
Okay.
friends, but he did have a close relationship with his plushies. These plushies were of characters from his favorite show, Fredbear and Friends. Fazbear Entertainment
You say plushies, right? How big were these plushies? Because this guy's wearing a fucking head of Foxy, so... How fucking big were they?
Entertainment's newest
They
cartoon.
have to be pretty
featuring-
big.
That's what she said.
When a child experiences something traumatic, their brain naturally tries finding ways to deal with that trauma. The crying child's way of dealing with his trauma was by creating an imaginary friend. This imaginary friend took the
Okay, so that contradicts something I thought was, the boy, the didn't in sister location in the secret room, bro had William Afton had a walkie-talkie next to a golden Fredbear. And now people assume it was William talking to him through the bear. Isn't that the lore?
form of
Yes.
Ironically, his birthday party was being held at Fredbear's family diner. Because he was so terrified of being at the pizzeria, he hid under the table.
Wrong, it's because William Afton had an employee discount, so and he loves
Not
money.
knowing that Michael and his friends were
Not lore
nearby,
accurate, bro. Pay
planning a prank
attention,
that
bro.
would go terribly wrong.
Oh my god.
Make sure you grab your pizza.
Jesus,
Fredbear and
man.
Spring Bonnie will be performing in
Is that bad?
5 minutes.
Hold on.
Fredbear and Spring Bonnie will be performing in
No, you know what? I was wrong. Yeah.
5 minutes.
Dude, but like imagine though. Oh god. Jesus, dude. Was that the point of 87?
Michael and his
Was
friends
that the point
lifted
of
the crying
87?
child up to, quote, give Fredbear a big kiss, and Fredbear bit down on him, leaving his body to go limp.
And the kids were flabbergasted, dude. Look at that guy's face, bro. It's just,
He didn't immediately die. Because of the immense brain damage, he slipped into a coma. After being treated at a hospital, the crying child was taken home so he could be comfortable, surrounded by his only friends, his plushies. In the crying child's final moments,
Oh,
Michael
God.
decides to apologize for what he's done, saying, "Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. I'm sorry." After Michael speaks,
Dude,
the
I kinda
crying
got
child's
chills from that.
imaginary friend Fredbear, created out of the trauma he experienced, continues doing what it's done the whole time. It comforts him, saying, "You're broken. We are still your friends. Do you still believe that? I'm still here. I will put you back together." This would be the final thing the crying child hears before he dies. The crying child's
Interesting.
spirit would then live on in the Fredbear suit, the thing that took his life. The crying child's death wasn't just an accident. It was directly caused by Michael's recklessness. This is something that Michael could potentially face jail time for, so it needed to be covered up. Since the crying child was being kept at home, no one else knew that he ended up passing away. So William and Michael ended up burying the crying child's body in the middle of the woods where no one would find him. No tombstone, no flowers, just a pile of dirt, an unmarked grave, and a
Jesus.
lifetime's worth of guilt that Michael would have to live with. A father losing his son is a traumatic situation, and while any other father would take time to grieve, be sad, and properly deal with such a big loss, William Afton took a different route. Afton definitely was upset about his son dying, but it wasn't because he felt bad for his son, it was because it was embarrassing to him. William
Yeah,
Afton was a
that
narcissist.
seems like him.
He had little to no empathy. All he cared about was work and comparing himself to his business partner, Henry. Henry had a wife, a kid, and a talent for
Jesus.
robotics that Afton was utterly jealous of. The death of the crying child sent Afton over the edge because while Henry's family was still perfect, his was now broken. Henry
Am I wrong to say that this William guy kind of fucking shit?
and William had different ways of taking care of their
He's
kids.
kind of
and
a
while
fucking
Afton
shitty
employing his
person.
eldest son failed, Henry's security puppet succeeded. Henry's daughter,
Jesus.
Charlie, lived on. Afton had a hard
Jesus,
time
imagine imagine saying that your kid dies and you call him a failure. for dying,
with
dude.
this
That's
feeling of
wild.
embarrassment. He started becoming an alcoholic, frequently visiting the local bar called Junior's. One
Makes
night,
sense.
though, after drinking a little too much and getting kicked out of the bar, he decided that he was going to settle the score with Henry. Afton, drunk and filled with rage, drove from the bar to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where he knew Charlie was being watched over by Henry's security puppet. Afton planned on
Jesus,
risking
this guy
everything to
fucking
kill Henry's
sucks.
daughter, Charlie. He didn't care if he got caught, and he didn't
Dude,
care
back in my day, the FNAF lore, William wasn't fucking Jesus. It wasn't this bad. He was bad, but not this bad. You know,
if he went to prison. But when
wow.
Afton got to Freddy's, he noticed that Charlie was standing outside by herself. It turned out that some bullies were able to trap the security puppet in its box and lock Charlie outside the building, giving Afton the perfect opportunity to kill Charlie out.
So explain to me why the owner of the building is just letting his kid get bullied. That is
Outside of the pizzeria. The security
I
puppet
don't know.
was
Yeah, now I remember. They made puppets, or just threw their responsibility to someone else.
eventually able to
And
escape
never mind, I
its
get it.
box and went
I get
looking
why.
for Charlie. As Afton sped away, the puppet noticed that Charlie was outside in the pouring rain. It then did what it was programmed to do and went to protect her.
That's actually fucking sick, dude.
But as the puppet got closer to Charlie's body, the rain started making it short circuit. It was forced to crawl its way over to her until the rain got to be too much and the puppet shut down
Jesus.
right next to Charlie's body. While Charlie and the puppet lay lifeless next to each other, Afton
Dude,
was
honestly, out of everyone that deserves a fucking, like, a reward or award, it's the puppet, man.
eating home,
Bro was there
driving right
fucking
past where he buried his son and the bar
ready
he
to
got
die,
kicked out of. When Afton got
you know,
home, he was met
for
with
this
his
kid.
wife sitting in the living room watching TV and Michael in his bedroom. Afton was a drunk
Wait,
and
who?
abusive father watching TV and kicked out of.
Oh, wait,
When Afton got home, he was met with
Uh-huh.
his wife sitting in the living room
that's bro's wife. Wait, no. That's his wife. Yeah.
watching TV and Michael in his bedroom.
Back in my day, that wasn't actually his wife. That was Michael, I believe. And the kid in the not the kid, the room that was locked, that was where the kid
was a
was.
drunk and abusive
Back
father
in my
and
day,
fully
guys.
blamed
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
of Fredbear appear and disappear. Tonight, Fredbear appeared outside his bedroom window, and it almost felt like his brother was calling out to him from beyond the grave. This was through the
sorry.
window. As of Fredbear appear and so upset by what he did to his brother that he would sometimes see visions of Fredbear
Visions.
appear
Interesting.
and disappear. Tonight, Fred
Visions, you say? I don't think
Bear
visions
appeared
can make
outside his bedroom
footprints.
window, and it almost felt like his brother was calling out to him
Explain
from
that
beyond
one,
the
huh?
grave. This would happen frequently, and every time it did, Michael would run to the spot where they buried his younger brother, only to find that nothing had changed. His younger brother was still gone and buried in the ground. Afton knew Michael did this often, saying, "Ran off to that place again. He will be sorry when he gets back." The guilt of killing his younger brother haunted Michael in his real life, but also in his dreams. Michael would constantly have nightmares about the
FNAF 4?
animatronic that took his
Maybe.
brother's life. These were the exact same nightmares his younger brother used to have every night, now passed on to him.
Oh, it was FNAF 4 explained. That is actually not that bad of a, like, you know, story-wise, you know? Jesus. Jesus, dude. No dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. If this was a game, I would legit piss myself. Hi there.
The security puppet was quickly moved to the back room of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where the retired Fredbear and Spring Bonnie suits resided. But something was different about the security puppet. Dark tears now appeared on the mask of the animatronic.
I'll be honest, I never liked that puppet thing. It's always thinking.
After realizing the security puppet may be possessed by the spirit of Charlie, Afton went back and looked at the crying child's Fredbear plushie, only to find that it also seemed to be haunted. The crying child feared for his life every single day, and that plushie was something he was the crying child's Fredbear plushie, only to find that it also seemed to be haunted. The crying child feared for his life every single day, and that plushie was something he was able to cry and pour his agony into. Afton believed that this is what caused the plushie to appear haunted. It wasn't made alive by the spirit of his son, it was made alive by
his remnant.
It was here that he would try to recreate what happened with his son, to recreate the fear and agony he experienced. In order to do this, Afton didn't take any chances. He needed to replicate exactly what his son went through every day. In order to do this, Afton built a replica of his house underground, along with his son's daily walk to Fredbear's family diner. He also built a makeshift bedroom where he could force kids to have the same nightmare every night. Afton would sit in his office watching them on the cameras that could be accessed using the passcode 1983, the year his son got bit. He also kept the crying child's Fredbear plushie on the desk as a reminder of what he was trying to replicate.
I can't see it.
In the makeshift bedroom, there were dummy animatronics that wheeled down the hallway. But the kids wouldn't see them as just blank dummies on wheels. Afton would pump hallucinogenic gas into the room to get the kids to think that what they were seeing was a monster. These nightmare gas canisters were being stored all throughout his underground facility. And on the bed of this makeshift bedroom was a Freddy plushie, in the hopes that the kids would pour their fear and agony into the plush, like his son did to his plushie. On the other side of the bunker where Afton recreated the crying child's walk to Fredbear's, he placed a bunch of Fredbear plushies all over the place. These Fredbear plushies had walkie-talkies inside of them. This was Afton's way of recreating his son's imaginary friend that would talk to him wherever he went. Afton would speak to the kids through his walkie-talkie sitting in his private office.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Afton was only missing one more thing: the kids to run these experiments on. He needed a way to kidnap and capture kids without being caught, and he had the perfect way to do it.
Baby.
The show will begin momentarily. Everyone, please stay in your seats.
Enter Circus Baby and the Funtime.
Was that an actual line? Did he actually get the person to voice it?
These robots were specifically built by Afton to capture
I don't know. Honestly,
kids,
the budget on this
Circus Baby,
pretty high.
Funtime Freddy, Funtime Foxy, and Ballora. They feature advanced technologies such as parental tracking, voice mimicking.
God damn, bro. Jesus. 356 foot. Jesus.
Flooring and storage tanks. Circus Baby, the star of the group, was
I
even
don't
able
need
to
a
make
body
ice cream
shame, but I mean, like, I'm 6'6", 255 pounds, freak of fucking nature.
Stop the cap.
He strictly told her to stay away from the animatronic, but one day, she didn't listen. On the opening day of Circus Baby's Pizza World, another domino would fall in Afton's life, and Elizabeth would soon be the victim of his terrible misdeeds.
And that's crazy. How's he gonna blame this on
Did you know
Henry?
that? I can make ice cream, although I only did it once. What a wonderful day, though.
McDonald's ice cream machine be like, then one.
Then one. Time to play.
Okay. So what are we playing, huh? You gonna tell me? Maybe.
Ice cream.
Oh, ice cream! I love ice cream! My ice cream!
The sheer force of her being grabbed and thrown into the robot's storage tank was enough to kill her almost instantly. This is something that William wasn't able to test. That was until his daughter became the test. William Afton now lost another one of his kids, but this time it was all his fault. After just one day of being open, Circus Baby's Pizza World was shut down.
This guy
Afton
fucking
covered up the
sucks.
for Afton, Elizabeth's death quickly went from just another inconvenience to a scientific breakthrough. Afton was one step closer to harnessing the power of life itself. But one
I don't know how many times I need to say it, but this guy fucking sucks.
He built in the bunker, he needed to replicate exactly what happened. He needed to recreate the accident, and he knew exactly how he was going to do it. Using the Funtime animatronics again wasn't an option. Circus Baby's Pizza World was shut down, and the public was already getting too suspicious of the animatronics. But he didn't need the Funtime animatronics. He was going to run the experiment himself. On June 26, 1985, William Afton made his way to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. There, he would put on the old Spring Bonnie suit from Fredbear's to lure 5 kids into the back room.
This is FNAF 1. Alright, wait. I don't know if it's copyrighted. I don't want to be flagged for it. You know what? I can listen to it. You guys can't. Oh, that was it. Okay, never mind. Oh, who's that?
Hello.
Hello.
Looking for a friend?
Oh my god. You know what? You guys don't hear this. You guys hear none of this. You just hear my beautiful voice. So I'll sing it instead.
One by one, Afton killed them and stuffed their bodies into the animatronics. Susie was first, being stuffed into Chica. Gabriel went into Freddy, Jeremy into Bonnie, Fritz into Foxy, and then there was Cassidy, who went into Fredbear, aka Golden Freddy. At this point, Afton had no idea that the crying child spirit was in Golden Freddy, so he didn't think twice.
Okay. Okay, never mind.
The way
Ignore
Afton
me.
killed Cassidy, though, was different from the rest. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy were just regular animatronics. Afton had no choice but to kill them, then stuff them into the suits. But Golden Freddy wasn't just a regular animatronic, it was a Springlock suit. The same Springlock suit that took his youngest son's life. Afton was aware of how dangerous the Springlocks were. Any bit of moisture or too much movement would cause them to snap shut, slowly killing whoever was inside. So that's exactly what he did to Cassidy. He put
Still a fucking stupid design. Like, Jesus, man.
him into the suit and watched as the Springlocks snapped shut, cementing Cassidy's death as the most brutal of them all. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Golden Freddy weren't the only animatronics sitting in the back room of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, though. They were joined by the security puppet, which contained the soul of Henry's daughter, Charlie. Once Afton was gone, Charlie jumped into action, almost acting as a guide for their souls, properly giving them life inside of each animatronic. After the incident, the kids were quickly reported missing by their families, and although the security cameras caught Afton luring the kids away, he wasn't able to.
Would you look at that? It's like the Epstein videotapes.
Was wearing the Spring Bonnie suit. They were never able to prove it was actually
Is William Afton just Epstein?
him. Afton also hid the kids' bodies where no one would ever look, so the bodies were never found. Unbelievably, Afton was able to get away with yet another crime. Because of all the bad press that came from the missing children's incident, people stopped coming
it's sounding a lot pretty similar, yeah.
showing up. Fazbear Entertainment officially shut down Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Shortly after the pizzeria shut down, Afton decided to pull the Funtime animatronics out of retirement and finally get his underground facility fully operational. He knew he couldn't try opening another Circus Babies restaurant, so he had a new idea.
Due to the massive success and even more so the unfortunate closing of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, it was clear that the stage was set, no pun intended, for another contender in children's entertainment. Unlike most entertainment venues, our robotic entertainers are rented out for private parties during the day.
Afton opened Circus Babies Entertainment and Rental. This way, he could rent out the Funtime animatronics to local birthday parties, capture kids, and bring them back to his underground bunker to be experimented on. While Afton was running his rental business, Fazbear Entertainment was determined to try opening another pizzeria. In the summer of 1987, Fazbear Entertainment opened the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. This time with brand new versions of their original characters. These were called the Toy Animatronics. And new versions opened the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
Okay, wait. I thought the second game was first, then was ahead of the first game. Was I fed lies my whole life? I think I was just fed lies my whole life.
New versions of their original characters. These were called the Toy Animatronics, and they were once again built by Henry. Henry was aware of what happened in 1985, and especially of what happened to his daughter, so he was determined to make sure that never happened again. These new Toy Animatronics were equipped with facial recognition systems that were linked directly to a criminal database. The security puppet was also brought out of retirement, but instead of working security, it sat quietly in the prize corner. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, Golden Freddy, and Spring Bonnie were also moved to the new pizzeria, and it's revealed that these animatronics were mostly used for spare parts.
By now, I'm sure you've noticed the older models sitting in the back room. Those are from the previous location, and we just use them for parts now. The idea at first was to repair them, but they were just so
reuse, reduce, recycle.
This means that the haunted metal of the original Freddy's animatronics was now being put into the toy animatronics, causing the toys to also now be possessed. After Afton got away with the first set of murders, he needed to see if the kids' spirits were possessing the animatronics. In order to see for himself, Afton went back to work at the new pizzeria as a daytime security guard, while Afton was working the day shift. Meanwhile, Afton decided to pull the same trick he did at the old Freddy's location, gaining 5 more victims.
Someone used one of the suits. We had a spare in the back, a yellow one.
A yellow one.
Afton used the Spring Bonnie suit to pull the same stunt again on 5 more kids. But as
Jesus. It's sounding very similar, man.
he was committing the murders, very similar to someone inside the puppet was actively trying to save the kids. She tried enlisting the help of the other animatronics, but it was too late. Afton had already finished what he started. Not only that, him seeing the puppet and Freddy walking around the pizzeria trying to stop him was all the proof he needed that his experiments were successful. The kids he put into the original suits were haunting the animatronics. But there was one problem. Afton knew that the haunted metal of the endoskeletons was the key to
You know, I just realized I'm stupid. Never mind. I'm very stupid. I'm like, it goes in one ear, out the other one. It's a fucking timeline, beginning to end. You know? And just now they're hitting wait, what? No. No, I had a point. Do I have a point? My brain is hurt. Wait. You know what? I'm just gonna say I'm stupid and just take the fucking L on this one. My brain is hurting right now. I'm losing the fucking plot.
There was no way he could bring them back to his underground bunker. He couldn't get to the animatronics if the pizzeria was still open and active. So he needed to find a way to make sure the pizzeria shuts down and fast. Instead of stuffing the new set of victims into the toy animatronics, he decided to leave the kids out in plain sight, scattered throughout the pizzeria. This was a guarantee.
Okay, but I could have fucking sworn distinctly remember them saying second game first game like second or somewhere fucking after the second game. I could have sworn it. I could have sworn that.
Way to get the pizzeria shut down. A few hours after Afton committed the murders, Jeremy Fitzgerald showed up for his night shift, unaware of what happened that day.
Hello. What on earth are you doing there? Didn't you get the memo? The place is closed down, at least for a while. Listen, just finish your shift. It's safer than trying to leave in the middle of the night. We have one more event scheduled for tomorrow, a birthday. You'll be on day shift. Wear your uniform. Stay close to the animatronics and make sure they don't hurt anyone, okay?
The next day, during Jeremy's day shift, one of the animatronics bit him in the head. This was infamously known as Meanwhile, Afton successfully got the pizzeria shut down.
I was so fucking happy I got to actually say that with pride.
In a few short weeks, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is closing its doors. The new animatronics will be
this company can't take a fucking break, huh?
However, the original characters are being kept in hopes of a possible reorganization of the company. Since the toy animatronics were now being scrapped, he knew he could get away with taking their endoskeletons. But he also knew that he couldn't risk showing his face at the pizzeria again, so he got his oldest son Michael to do the work for him. William was easily able to get Michael to do whatever he wanted. William was abusive and manipulative, while Michael was haunted by the guilt of what he did to his younger brother. Because of this, Michael basically acted as William's puppet. Michael showed up for the night shift at the now closed Freddy Fazbear's Pizza under a code name, Fritz Smith. At the end of his shift, he would successfully steal the toy animatronics endoskeletons for his father, causing him to get fired his first day on the job due to tampering with the animatronics. As it said in the local newspaper, while Fazbear Entertainment scrapped the toy animatronics, the original Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy were going to be fixed up and reused. And that's exactly what they did. After the 1987 Freddy's location shut down, they opened yet another location, this time using the exact same building as the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. As you can imagine, this didn't work out great for the business. People already had a bad impression of Fazbear Entertainment, so using the same building that the original murders took place in didn't help business.
I should have just shut the fuck up and let the fucking video keep going. I see.
Although this was bad news for Fazbear Entertainment, this was great news for William Afton. Afton was able to acquire the endos of the toy animatronics, but that wasn't enough. He needed all of the haunted endoskeletons, especially the ones in the original animatronics. Once the pizza...
Okay, I need a little explanation. Or I need to explain something. Every time, man, when I get to like a good chunk of the video, I'm always wondering, am I recording?
Pizzeria shut down, Afton came up with
like
a
a mini
plan
heart
to
attack.
steal the endos.
This is like a side tangent.
Each pizzeria was designed with something called a safe room.
As always, if there is ever an emergency, please go to the designated safe room. Every location is built with one extra room that is not included in the digital map layouts programmed into the animatronics or security system. This room is hidden to customers, invisible to animatronics, and is always off camera.
This room was hidden from guests and invisible to the animatronics.
That seems like a perfect place for a fucking asshole.
Luring each of the animatronics to the safe room and dismantling them one by one. The kids possessing these animatronics were the same kids he lured into the back room all those years ago. He planned to use the same trick to lure the same kids all over again.
What game was it where you played that mini game? So the whole like walking around where he dismantles. That's the second game? No, that's the third game. That's the third game. That's the third game. But this is the first game. Okay, so I wasn't fed lice. Yo, I fucking Freddy looked fucking goofy as shit with this fucking walk. Fucking goofy ass. Fazbear mask. Oh, hell no. Jesus.
Once he finished dismantling each animatronic and stealing their endoskeleton, he brought them down to his
So that's
underground
what he was
bunker,
doing
where
now.
he would melt them all down into one liquid substance called remnant. Not only did
I thought
Afton rob
remnants
these
was the
kids of their
soul.
lives, he would use their
Is it?
souls long after they're gone for his own personal gain.
Hopefully this doesn't get me get my video copyrighted. Jesus. Shit's fucking cinema, dude. Do a thumbs up. Do a thumbs up. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
By melting down the endos, he successfully created remnant. This substance, containing the spirits of all of the missing children, was silver in color, and if kept at the right temperature, was malleable. Afton didn't want to risk testing the remnant on himself, so he injected it into the Funtime animatronics. Once he did, the animatronics jumped to life. The experiment
I was like,
had
who's the
worked.
Funtime?
William Afton unlocked the power of life itself. After his successful experiment, he went back to Freddy Fazbear's
The
Pizza
power of life at the palm of my
to collect his old
hands, have
spring
an
body
ass,
suit,
bro.
but once he got
God
there, he was
damn.
met with the spirits of the 5 missing children, trapping him inside the safe room. Cassidy, the spirit inside Golden Freddy, chased Afton around the room and forced him to get into the spring Bonnie suit. Cassidy was the most vengeful spirit of them all. Being spring-locked in the Fredbear suit was a painful and slow death, and he wanted to make sure that Afton knew what that felt like. At this point, Afton knew how a spirit could live on. As long as he was inside the suit, he knew he'd be back.
Oh, so you did that on purpose?
As Afton laughed, the spring locks snapped shut, forcing him to go through what Cassidy went through. This was an act of revenge
Creepy,
by
eh?
Cassidy, and it wouldn't be the last. Afton was now confined to the safe room of the now shut down Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and because of this, everything in his underground bunker was left abandoned. But even with Afton gone, the rental business continued on its own. All of the Funtime animatronics containing the spirits of the missing children and even his daughter Elizabeth were still being rented out during the day and then brought right back down to the bunker. All the spirits wanted to do was escape, but they were always put back underground. After Afton went missing, his eldest son Michael, who's been blindly helping his father, remembered what after her, all the Elizabeth were still being rented out during
mark me if I'm wrong, didn't he just say that he put it inside the Funtime? Was this specific? Wait, hold on. Hold on. I need a refresher.
Time animatronics. Down the endos, he successfully created remnant. This substance, containing the spirits of all of the missing children, was silver in color, and if kept at the right temperature, was malleable. Afton didn't want to risk testing the remnant on himself, so he injected it into the Funtime animatronics. Once he did, the animatronics jumped to life. The experiment had worked. William
weren't they already possessed?
The rental business continued on its own. All of the
Did he
Funtime
just-
animatronics
okay.
containing the spirits of the missing children and even his daughter Elizabeth were still being rented out during the day and then brought right back down to the bunker. All the
Okay, I think I got it. The only one that was possessed was Baby. And then he injected that fucking weird metal liquid thing into Funtime Foxy, Ballora, and Funtime Freddy? I think that's your name. I could be wrong. Sorry.
spirits wanted to do was escape, but they were always put back underground. After Afton went missing, his eldest son Michael, who's been blindly helping his father, remembered what his father told him if he ever went missing. If William wasn't there to finish his work, Michael would do it for him. Afton's underground facility was always off limits to Michael, but since he was now gone,
Okay. Again, sorry, but back in my day, wasn't fucking what's his name? Michael, wasn't he trying to free them? Right? He was trying to like how you say atone for his father's or whatever, you know? Thought he was the good guy.
Michael had no choice. He took the elevator down to where his father worked every day. Although Michael was helping out his father by stealing some of the endos from the...
Technically, he's not a bad person. He's just being manipulated. But I always...
animatronics back in the day,
shut up.
he never exactly knew what William was doing until he got down into the bunker. Several days he visited the bunker, he learned more about what his father was up to. He learned about the massive facility his father built, complete with multiple rooms conducting fear experiments. He learned the truth behind the Funtime animatronics and how they were actually designed to kidnap kids. And he learned through the voice of Baby exactly how his sister died.
A little girl, standing by herself. My stomach opened, and there was ice cream. I couldn't move, at least... not until she stepped closer.
But as the week went on,
wouldn't she be speaking in the third person?
Baby was conducting a plan of her own. A plan to escape the bunker, using Michael's body. Elizabeth was no longer the person Michael remembered her as. She was entirely devoted to her father, and would do anything to make him proud of her. At the end of the week, all of the Funtime animatronics endos were scooped out, with all of them combining into one animatronic, called Ennard. This creature, containing the spirits of the missing kids and Elizabeth, knew they wouldn't be able to escape the bunker looking like an animatronic. They needed a human body to walk around in.
You are in the scooping room now. Funtime Foxy has already been here today. Funtime Freddy has already been here today. Allura has already been here today. Circus Baby has already been here today.
Ripiemo.
I've been out before.
That's pretty
They
creepy.
always put me back. They always put us back inside. There's nowhere for us to hide here. There is nowhere to go when we look like this. But if we looked like you, then we could hide. If we looked like you, then we would have somewhere to go. The scooper only hurts for a moment.
Damn, that's wild. Tough shit.
Michael Afton's insides got scooped out and replaced by Ennard, helping all of the souls to escape the facility. With every passing day after this happened, Michael looked more and more like a walking zombie. His skin was starting to turn purple, and people started to notice. Michael's body was no longer a good disguise for Ennard, so Ennard ejected itself from Michael. But because the scooper was also a remnant injector, when Michael Afton was scooped, he was also injected with Remnant. The Remnant made it so even after Ennard was gone, he was still able to survive. With Michael now back in full control of his body, he had a new mission. Although he did, one way or another, successfully free his sister from the underground facility, he also learned about all of his father's terrible misdeeds. His loyalty to his father turned to disgust. It was time for him to end all of this.
Father, it's me, Michael. I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be. They were all there. They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you. And I found her. I put her back together, just like you asked me to. She's free now. But something is wrong with me. I should be dead, but I'm not. I've been living in shadows.
Did you just forget about the brother?
There is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you. I'm going to come find
Come for him.
you.
Michael would spend years searching for his father with no luck, until a new ad in the local newspaper caught his attention. Someone decided to open something called Fazbear's Fright, the horror attraction. Local amusement park is getting ready to scare your socks off with a new attraction based on the unsolved mysteries of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Featuring actual relics from the decades-old pizzeria, this new attraction is guaranteed to bring back your childhood in the worst possible way. As if using the crimes of his father to make a profit wasn't bad enough, they also went back to the old pizzerias and collected any objects they could find to put on display at the attraction. Michael immediately applied for the job of the security guard with the sole intention of burning the place to the ground. When he got there, he saw the remnants of his past, the shells of all of the animatronics, missing every single one of their endoskeletons. He knew they could only find the shells of the animatronics because he and his father stole their endoskeletons all those years ago, leaving only the shells behind. On day 2 of working at the attraction, he got word that they found a real animatronic.
You're not gonna believe this.
Listen, but
We found one. A real one.
This real animatronic ended up being his father, still inside the Spring Bonnie suit he died in decades ago. Even though his father was now in the
okay, I might regret this for saying this, but aren't only children able to produce the like soul binding to objects? Wasn't that a thing? Or it was only children, not grown as a-holes?
building with him, he still decided to go through on his plan, all in an effort to end his father once and for all. Michael then rigged the wiring in the building to catch fire, burning the horror attraction to the ground with his father inside.
But he didn't die, now did he? Bro, I bet the person whoever made that fucking store or Taurus? No. Amuse. What the fuck was this called? He's fucking regretting it. Bro probably put like a lot of money into it
local attraction based on
just for it to burn down.
Burned down overnight. Authorities have not ruled out foul play, but at the moment it seems to have been caused by faulty wiring. Although the fire destroyed most of everything in the building, William, miraculously, was able to survive. William was now free, roaming the outside world along with the souls of the missing children, Elizabeth, and Charlie inside the puppet. Since Michael wasn't able to end everything, someone else needed to step in. in. That someone was Henry Emily. Afton's old business partner and father of Charlie heard about the fire at Fazbear's Fright, along with the rumors of the various animatronic creatures now roaming the streets. Henry was determined to put an end to all of this.
It's only now that I understand the depth of the depravity of this creature, this monster that I unwillingly helped to create. As if what he had already done wasn't enough. He found a new way to desecrate, to humiliate, to destroy. As if the suffering wasn't enough. The loss of innocence, the loss of everything to so many people. Small souls trapped in prisons of my making, now set to new purpose, and used in ways I never thought imaginable. He lured them all back to a familiar place. Back with familiar tricks. He brought them all together. Is he still aware? I hope not. It keeps me awake at night. I could make myself sleep, but not yet. Not until I undo what he has done and heal this wound. A wound first inflicted on me, but then one that I let bleed out to cause all of this. He set some kind of trap.
W
I
fucking
don't know what it was,
monologue, bro.
but he led them there again. He overpowered them again. And he robbed them of the only thing that they had, again. I don't know how those tiny breaths of life came to inhabit those machines, but they will never find rest now, not like this. I have to call them all back, all of them, together in one place.
By gathering all of the animatronics
fucking Henry has like one of the best fucking monologues in the fucking franchise, man.
For good, effectively freeing their spirits.
Bro fucking popped in, made a banger with the suits. Well, kind of a banger. I still think it's a stupid fucking design to have like have like a person in something that's so sensitive to like water or moisture. It's the dumbest shit ever. But anyways, he pops in and fucking just spits fucking
process. In order to do this,
the fucking
Henry created
best
a new
monologue.
restaurant called Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place. He knew that the spirits and William couldn't resist coming back to a new location, even if it was all just a trap. Charlie was different though. She was smarter than the rest, so Henry knew she wouldn't be as easily fooled. So he created an animatronic called Lefty, standing for Lure, Encapsulate, Fuse, Transport, and Extract, specifically to capture the puppet and bring it to the pizzeria. While trying to find someone that would help him carry out his plan, one person showed up for the job, a person who was also determined to finally end all of this, Michael Afton. Day after day, the animatronics roaming the streets would show up in the alleyway next to the pizzeria. Baby, aka Elizabeth, the souls of the missing children and the crying child, now appearing as Molten Freddy, Charlie and Lefty, and his father, William, all showed up in the back alley. Michael would then collect each animatronic and throw them into a facility under the pizzeria, designed to be a maze with no exit, where the animatronics would roam around without even knowing they're trapped, until the end of the week where they would all be burned to the ground. With all of the souls, including William himself, now in one place, Henry's plan was in motion. As far as Elizabeth and William were concerned, this was a good thing. All of this remnant now in one place was all that they wanted, until Henry stepped in.
You played right into our hands. Did you really think that this job just fell out of the sky for you? No. This was a gift for us. You gathered them all together in one place, just like he asked you to. All of those little souls in one place, just for us. A gift. Now we can do what we were created to do and be complete. I will make you proud, Daddy. Watch. Listen. And be full.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth, if you still even remember that name, but I'm afraid you've been misinformed. You are not here to receive a gift, nor have you been called here by the individual.
Dude, fucking chat, dude.
Indeed been called. You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection and misfortune. A labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize. You don't even realize that you are trapped. Your lust for blood has driven you in endless circles, chasing the cries of children in some unseen chamber, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach.
I had to pause this. Must have really not liked the fucking updated version of Springtrap, huh? Bro, use the old
But you will
version.
never find them. None of you will.
It's different? It's different?
And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you. Although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be. I am remaining as well. I am nearby. This place will not be remembered, and the memory of everything that
Jesus
started
fucking
this
chills.
will finally begin to fade away, as the agony of every tragedy should. And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still, and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace, and perhaps more, waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, old friend. My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms, the way you lifted others into yours. And then, what became of you? I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. Not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you, and for those you have carried in your arms. This ends, for all of us, in communication.
Jesus,
Henry putting fire to the
bro.
animatronics may have freed the spirit.
One of the best endings. Until they messed it up and brought more.
From the metal of the robots, but some of them still needed help actually moving on into the afterlife. This help would come from Charlie. She helped guide the spirits into the robots. Now she would help them move on. In the world of Five Nights at Freddy's, the way a spirit can move on is by them being put into a happy memory. The memory Charlie chose actually comes from the crying child and the day he got bit. Piece by piece, Charlie put that terrible shattered memory back together, but this time she would change it into a happy memory. Instead of the crying child getting bit on his birthday, Charlie changed it so that all of the missing kids and Charlie would celebrate him, giving him a giant birthday cake. By changing that terrible memory into a happy one and attaching all of the spirits to it, they were able to successfully pass into the afterlife.
I got fucking chills, bro. I remember why I liked FNAF, why I got into it. And then they ruined us.
Like I said, they were all able to move on, except for one.
Yes, it is. Wait, what? Susie? Oh, fucking Jesus. Okay. Okay. I was like, wait, what? Chica?
Cassidy, the most vengeful spirit of them all.
Tell me this is Golden Freddy? So who the fuck is this guy? Is he fucking... I thought he was the fucking Springtrap. It's just a weird design. I am so confuzzled. I am just...
Cassidy, the most vengeful spirit of them all, wasn't done yet. He decided to attach his soul to Williams, making sure that William was unable to move on. By attaching his spirit to Williams, he was able to trap Ash.
I really need to learn not to just let the video play, and it'll explain it.
Afton in an endless loop of death. He made Afton relive every one of his terrible misdeeds. The fear experiments, his underground bunker, and the pizzeria where Cassidy was killed. Afton experienced all of this while being attacked and killed over and over again by all of the animatronics from his past. Every time an animatronic would attack him, Cassidy would be there, reminding him that the suffering will never end.
We've only just begun. I will never let you leave. I will never let you rest.
He tried to release you. He tried to release us, but I'm not gonna let that happen. I will hold you here. I will keep you here, no matter how many times they burn us.
Cassidy knew that Afton didn't deserve the afterlife. He deserved to pay for what he's done for all of eternity.
Creepy ass kid, bro. I mean, I know he deserves it, but still, like a kid that's just like really vengeful is
If you
wild.
keep up with the franchise, you know that that's not the end of the story. Like I said at the beginning of the video, making a FNAF timeline is not easy, no matter what anyone says. In broad strokes, you can explain the basic plot, but once you get down to the motivations and the why of everything, you have to start filling in the blanks yourself. Some people who've helped me fill in the blanks that I'd like to shout out are Right Host for his theory about Cassidy being spring-locked in Golden Freddy. I think that makes a lot of sense and is really satisfying for the narrative. Also, I'd like to shout out I think our Right Host for his theory about Cassidy being spring-locked in Golden Freddy. I think that makes a lot of sense and is really satisfying for the narrative. Also, I'd like to shout out MattPat for his theory about Midnight Motorist. After trying to figure that minigame out for years, I think your explanation makes the most sense. It's important for me to say that no one except for Scott Cawthon himself knows the exact story he was trying to tell.
Bullshit, bro. Bro doesn't have a fucking clue.
So please make sure to watch other people's timelines as well and come to your own conclusion on everything. And when the time is right, I'll be back to tackle the newer games in this franchise. Until then, make sure to subscribe and thanks for watching.
Jesus. Bro just completely just ignored the whole like newer ones. I just completely flat out just yeah, nah. I'm not touching that shit. So it's not too far off to what originally what theory I had originally, or not had, but was fed to me. Except for like when like 4th came out, like FNAF 4, that like sister location kind of like really like weirdly messed it up, you know? I think somewhere along like past 4, it got really messy. It got really messy when it came to the lore. That does it for the entire lore of FNAF. Pretty much everything was a line of, except for like a few stuff that got a little bit confuzzled on. But pretty much everything that I thought I knew was pretty aligned to this one. And then I was over here like picking it apart and being like, ah, I got you. This doesn't make sense. And immediately slapped in the face by it. It was crazy. That kind of like, that kind of made me a little sad. Not gonna lie. I was like, I got you. No, he didn't. I didn't get him. I didn't. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed me reacting to the FNAF lore. And if you guys did, make sure to like, subscribe. And see you guys later. Also, I'm sorry for being pretty late on this video. I've been super busy with IRL stuff. I know how it is. Alright, bye.